Hi, I'm Rick Jordan, and welcome to the Blood of the Lamb and the Word of their Testimony. The name of this program actually comes from the last book of the Bible, the book of Revelation. You see, the Apostle John was taken into the kingdom of heaven, and an angel of the Lord showed him a multitude of people that made it into the kingdom of heaven in the last days. And then he told the Apostle John how they made it. And he said it was through the blood of the Lamb and the word of their testimony. So get ready for eyewitness accounts that defy all the laws of nature, of gravity, of physics, and even death through the word of their testimony.
You are my champion, the Son of God, the only one who could ever fill my soul. You are my guiding light on the darkest night. Whenever I'm alone, only you can fill my soul. You are my champion.
Thank you for tuning into our broadcast today. Today's guest is going to change your opinion about these phrases. That he'll never change, and can a leopard change his spots? Or once a thief, or once a liar, always a thief and a liar? Well, today on our program, we have an ex-Palestinian terrorist. A man that was indoctrinated since he was a little boy with such hatred for the Jews that he was willing to commit suicide in order to kill some of them. Here's a man that walked into the Bank of Bethlehem with a bomb inside a loaf of bread. You have to hear his story because it's through the word of his testimony. Wally Shabbat. Welcome to the program, sir.
Thank you, Rick. I'm glad to be in the show.
It's just fantastic to have you here today. I want you to start because we did a 3-hour special for Sky Angel last year, and I heard part of your testimony. It was just beautiful, and we want to start from how it was to be brought up in the faith that you were brought up in as a child. Try to tell the people who are viewing some of what you went through and how you were brought up.
First, I could maybe give you a background about my family. My mother is an American who met a Palestinian Arab. My father, who they have met in Humboldt State University. and she fell in love, and she converted to Islam, and she traveled to the Holy Land. She was 9 months pregnant with me, and on the first day she arrived to Bethlehem, I was born in the upper room of my grandfather's house. And she even told me, you were wrapped with swaddling cloth, and they killed 2 doves as soon as you were born, which is a tradition, to show that the traditions of the society there from the beginning some of it was biblical, was passed down. Her grandfather, from her side, my American side, my great-grandfather was the mayor of Eureka, California, and he was connected with Truman and Churchill, and he was high up in politics. And from my grandfather's side, from my Arabic side, he was connected with Hajj Amin al-Husseini, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem. And that's basically where the Islamic fundamentalism started being born at that era when we came back. Hajj Amin al-Husseini was teaching the hatred of Jews. He was seen on the eve of the final solution to the Jewish problem. He was seen with Adolf Hitler on the eve of the final solution. He was responsible for stopping 500,000 Jews from Hungary. He pleaded with the Hungarian Prime Minister of Foreign Affairs not to allow 500,000 Jews to come back to Israel. All perished in Auschwitz, Treblinka, and the ovens. He also stopped a deal between Britain and Germany for some POWs. And the British wanted to do this exchange of Nazi soldiers. 5,000 Jewish kids ended up, no thanks to Hajj Amin al-Husseini, the Grand Mufti of Jerusalem, they ended up dying in the ovens. So right from kindergarten, I remember our Islamist education, Islamic fundamentalist education. We used to sing songs. The songs were similar to what you see in Nazi Germany. We used to sing the song Al-Arab Ahbabna wal-Yahud Klabna, which means Arabs are beloved and Jews our dogs. And that's the kind of singing we sang. And right from kindergarten, I go home, ask my father, who are the Jews? Why we call them dogs? Well, he said they're monkeys and pigs in accordance to the Quran. So they taught the Quran in a fashion that depicted the Jews as monkeys and pigs and this kind of thing, because there's a verse in the Quran that says, وَقَلَبْنَاهُمْ قِرَدَةً خَاسِئِينَ. We have converted the Jews to detestable monkeys. And even as a young child, I'd go to the zoo. You go to the local zoo. I mean, just to give you an idea, the parallel of what's happening and what's happened when I was growing up, to make it easier to understand for the American audience, is to explain to them to never forget Nazism. Nazism was the process of robbing the schools, robbing the religious institutions, robbing the arts, and converting them to teach myth as truth. Example, Adolf Hitler taught that the Germans were the original Aryan people, when in fact that's false, because Aryana is Persia and Afghanistan. That's why you see Aryana Airlines, is the Afghan Airlines, or Iranian, you see Aryana Market. Many Persian Americans here, or Afghan Americans, will call their market Aryana Market. So the Germans are not really Aryans. They just kind of cling to a myth. So myth is being taught as fact, The Jews are depicted as, in Nazi Germany, as lower class. They're depicted as rats, city rats, and the same fashion. In the songs as well, the hatred towards Jews, as we were brought up. I'll give examples. As I was saying, when we go to the zoo, I remember watching the gorilla in the zoo, and the teacher saying that the gorilla is a descendant of the Jews. This is the ancestors of the Jews. In fact, there was evidence why he's the ancestor of the Jews. That gorilla used to smoke. So you'd smoke a cigarette, you toss it to the gorilla, he'll take it and take puffs from the cigarettes. Right. See, he even knows how to smoke. And as the Jewish people hanging out in the zoo, and they would be looking at the gorilla as well, and I'll be doing comparative analysis. Yeah. See, he was a child, sponge.
Yes.
And a sponge will, you put it in dark ink, it'll suck up the darkness.
Exactly.
And it takes a long time to kind of wash that sponge. Yes. Later on, years later, that sponge was washed.
Yes. Yes.
But before, let's talk about the sponging of